Afternoon of Saturday, June the 15th, 1974, Angus Phillips, a sixth former at Kenbury Hall Public School near Fulchester, went to meet a girl at a secluded spot by the River Frid. This particular stretch of the river, known locally as the Bushes, was out of bounds to the pupils of Kenbury Hall. Also, the boys were strictly forbidden to meet local girls without permission. When Angus Phillips arrived at the rendezvous, he took off his school blazer and tie and hid them under a bush. When he came to collect them 2 hours later, he found they'd been taken, together with a wallet he'd left in the blazer. He reported the loss. 11 days later, an elderly vagrant, Arthur Kemp, was arrested after trying to sell a valuable wallet made of pigskin to a second-hand dealer. Today, in Fulchester Crown Court, Arthur Kemp stands charged with dishonestly appropriating the property of Angus Phillips.
Will show that not only was the accused found in the possession of part of the lost property, but that he was seen in the vicinity of the River Frid, near the place where these possessions were first missed. My lord, I would like to call Mr. Peter Glass. And you, the proprietor of a shop known as the Glass House in Upper Wilson Street, Fulchester, where you deal in second-hand goods.
I am, yes.
Now, would you please describe to the court the events of Wednesday, June the 26th of this year?
Well, you mean a bit about the, Well, old Kemp come up the shop just after dinner. He's a bit of a funny old boy, you know. You've got to keep your eye on him.
My lord.
Yes, Mr. Glass, you've been asked to describe certain events. Would you please do just that and not regale us with your private opinions?
Sorry. Well, as I say, old Kemp come up the shop.
Yes, this person you call Old Kemp, can you see him in court here today?
Yeah, that's him over there.
And what did he do when he came into the shop?
Well, he nosed about a bit. Then he said he had something to sell. I wasn't really interested, but then he pulls out this wallet.
A wallet?
Yeah, good one. Real pigskin, hand-stitched. Must have cost a tidy bit, new.
Yes. May he be shown Exhibit 1, please? Now, is that the wallet?
Yeah, that's the one. It's got the initials on it. That's the one Kemp had, yeah.
Please continue, Mr. Glass.
Well, old Kemp said he wanted a couple of quid for it. Not a silly price, considering it was a fair old wallet, but I smelt something, you know.
Smelled something?
Yeah, well, you get a feel for it, you're doing my job. Some people try and pass off nicked stuff, you know. Then I see the initial stamps inside. ACP, in gold. Well, it's like I say about stuff that's nicked, you know. Some days I get the police in the shop, you know, just looking round, but... I mean, I'm not a receiver, definitely not. I mean, don't get that idea, but... I mean, I can't be certain about everything I'm offered, can I? I mean, the police understand that. I mean, they've got a job to do, I realise.
The wallet.
Well, the police had been in the week before, and one of the things on their list was a wallet with ACP stamps inside it, and here it was, right in my hand.
So what did you do?
Well, I gave the wallet back to old Kemp and sent him off. Then I phoned the police station. They went down the park later and picked him up, and he had the wallet, and that's it. You know.
Oh, but not in your presence, Mr. Glass. Please stick to what you saw and heard yourself.
Sorry, my lord.
And what happened later that afternoon?
Well, then Sergeant Fenton come up the shop and showed me the wallet he'd taken off Kemp.
Oh, Mr. Golding, please.
Yes, my lord. Mr. Glass, you must only tell us about the things that you yourself witnessed.
Why, is somebody saying he didn't take it off Kemp then, or what?
Mr. Glass, do you understand the meaning of the word witness?
Well, yeah, it's what I am here now.
Yes, I'm referring to the verb and not the noun. To witness is to see with your own eyes or to hear with your own ears. All we want to hear is what you yourself saw and heard.
Well, that's what I saw. The wallet Kemp had offered me.
Mr. Glass, had you yourself seen the accused, Arthur Kemp, before that day in June?
Yeah, he's often around Fulchester in the summer. He's been in the shop.
Mm-hmm. Had he sold you any goods before?
Well, I bought an old leather belt off him once, a pair of Wellington boots. I'll give him a few bob, you know.
But nothing that was subsequently found to be stolen?
No, but these fellas always try and suss you out. I mean, there's always a first time in there.
Mr. Glass, I will not allow that implication. Whether or not the property was stolen is for the jury to decide. You will please disregard that last remark. And I think, Mr. Golding, you should be a little more careful in the questions that you ask this witness.
Yes, my lord. Please answer the questions without comment, Mr. Glass.
Right, sir.
Now, had the accused ever brought to you anything like this wallet, anything as valuable?
No. All the other stuff was, well, sort of thing you find in dustbins, you know, not really worth anything.
But this wallet was different.
Oh, yeah. Different class altogether.
A different class altogether, yes. Thank you, Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass, you knew Mr. Kemp. He'd been in your shop before.
Yeah?
On this occasion, on June the 26th, was Mr. Kemp's manner, his approach to you, any different from his manner on previous occasions?
Well,
Yes, you may answer the question, Mr. Glass.
well, as I say, he nosed about a bit. Sort of shifty-like, you know.
Yes, I think we did get that impression from you. Yet Mr. Kemp had never before tried to sell you goods which were afterwards found to be stolen.
Not that I know of.
A leather belt, a pair of Wellington boots, cigarette lighter,
There was a lighter.
an edition of the collected works of Robert Burns.
There was a book once, yeah.
Yes, for which you paid him 2 old pennies.
Can't remember.
A few shillings for the belt and boots,
Yeah.
and a shilling for the lighter, which worked, I understand.
How can I remember? I mean, I get people coming in the shop all the time.
Now, would I be very wide of the mark if I estimated you paid Mr. Kemp a total of 5 shillings, 25 pence, for a leather belt, a pair of Wellington boots, a cigarette lighter in good working condition, and the poetical works of Robert Burns?
I don't know. Could be, I suppose.
You strike a hard bargain, Mr. Glass.
No, I don't. I mean, it's cost him nothing, has it? I mean, it's all stuff he's found, picked up, sorted out in dustbins, been given. It's all profit to him, isn't it?
Last Tuesday, Mr. Glass, you quoted to someone making inquiries at your shop about another leather belt, another pair of Wellington boots, another cigarette lighter, not in working order, and the poetical works of Lord Tennyson, soiled, the price of £3.45. Now, assuming you paid your supplier what you paid Mr. Kemp, that represents a profit of around 1,100%, doesn't it?
Yeah, I remember that fella coming in. But that was a good pair of rubber boots. that
Yes,
was.
well, you
It
can
wasn't-
understand a man having a look at your prices before trying to strike a bargain with you, can't you? Especially if he suspects he's been hard done by in the past, and a man living at or below the subsistence level. I trust that clears up the point of Mr. Kemp's manner on the day that he visited you.
Am I supposed to hand out charity then or something, or what?
Mr. Glass, my learned friend has suggested that you drive a hard bargain. Now, do you think you drive a hard bargain?
No. I pay a fair price.
And could that have been the reason why the accused came to you with the wallet rather than going elsewhere?
Definitely.
Yes, but does not explain why, on this occasion, he approached you rather hesitantly.
No.
No, thank you, Mr. Glass.
Well, you may leave the witness box, Mr. Glass.
I call Detective Sergeant Fenton. And when you'd received Mr. Glass's telephone call, what did you do?
I went in search of the accused, sir, and at about 4 o'clock that afternoon, I found him in Duke's Park. I then accompanied him to Hare Street Police Station, where after the search, I found the wallet in his possession. I then went up to Mr. Glass's shop in Upper Wilson Street, and Mr. Glass identified both the accused and the wallet.
I assume, Sergeant, that the accused hadn't denied trying to sell the wallet.
No, my lord.
So the exercise was pretty academic.
But I wanted it to be quite clear, my lord.
I see.
Now, what about these other items, Sergeant? The blazer, the fountain pen, etc., etc. Did you ask the accused about these?
Yes, sir. May I refer to my notes, my lord?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. I did, sir, and he replied, I wouldn't take clothes up to Glasses, he'd rook you. He then said, I was a bloody fool to go near Pete Glass, he's a crook.
Yes. And did you ask the accused if he had any knowledge of the whereabouts of these items?
Yes, sir, he became very agitated and difficult to understand. He neither admitted nor denied having any knowledge.
So what did you do?
Well, so I asked him how he came by the wallet. He said he'd found it on a rubbish dump by Old Street Bridge. I took him there by car, but there wasn't a dump at the place indicated. I believe there was a tip there once, but the council moved that years ago.
So?
So I charged him with the theft of the wallet and other items.
Yes. Thank you, Sergeant.
What was Mr. Kemp doing in Duke's Park when you finally traced him, Sergeant?
He was sitting on a bench, sir.
Was he unwell?
Not that I know of.
Yet he had cause, as far as you could see, to make himself scarce. And there he was, sitting on a bench quietly in Duke's Park. A very cool customer, our Mr. Kemp.
Well, sir, he didn't know that Mr. Glass had reported him, and he didn't know that we were looking for him.
You say that when you asked him about the clothes, he said, "I wouldn't take clothes up to Glass's, he'd rook you. I was a bloody fool to go near Pete Glass, he's a crook." Now, did he not, before saying that, tell you he knew nothing about any clothes?
Not to my recollection, no, sir.
Recollection? Are you now telling us you didn't make a note of everything you said?
To the best of my ability, yes, sir.
That you may have forgotten something?
It is possible, yes.
But in your evidence in chief, Sergeant, you said your note was a contemporaneous one. Was it?
Yes, sir.
Well, how long after the interview did you write up your notebook?
About 6 hours, sir.
6 hours. Now, you've told us there was no rubbish dump as such by Old Street Bridge, Sergeant, but that the accused had said that that was where he found the wallet.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kemp has been wandering up and down the country for years, has he not?
Well, as long as I've been in Fulchester, I can remember him, yes, sir.
And there was, at one time, a rubbish dump near Old Street Bridge.
Yes, sir, there was.
Now, Mr. Kemp is an old man. Out of the blue, he is picked up by the police and questioned about the exact location of a place where he finds a wallet. Now, these are his circumstances, in which he's asked to identify the spot, the place where the dump is, or what.
They've moved it, Governor. It ain't there no more.
Mr. Kemp, please. Now, you must not speak unless or until you are called to give evidence. Now, do you understand? Very well. Continue, Mr. Ellis.
You see, officer, I suggest that Mr. Kemp is an old man who can only sort out the past from the present after something of a struggle.
You've had more of a struggle finding a wallet in the place he said, sir. I built a block of flats where the dump used to be.
There were no flats there last June, Sergeant, the time you arrested him.
No, sir. Just an 8-foot steel fence.
But work on the site, on the foundations, had already begun, had it not?
Yes, sir.
So presumably there was a gate in the fence. A gate which was sometimes open, through which that Mr. Kemp might have entered onto the site.
Yes, sir, there was. I took Mr. Kemp onto the site and asked him to point out the place where he'd found the wallet. He couldn't.
What did he say? Did he say he couldn't?
He just stood there and looked round.
Do you think he heard your question, Sergeant?
Oh, yes, sir, I asked him twice.
But he just stood there and looked around.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant, will you take a look at this map? It's from the Borough Surveyor's Department.
My lord, I shall not require this plan to be formally approved.
Very well, now we'll enter it straight away and mark it Exhibit 2.
I'm obliged to my friend. Now, do you recognize the area shown on the map?
Yes, sir, it's the area around Old Street Bridge.
And the part outlined in red ink?
Well, that is the Old Street Bridge development, sir, the block of flats.
Thank you, Sergeant. Now, have you a pen or a pencil on you?
Yes, sir.
Then would you kindly mark on your copy of the map the exact location of the old rubbish dump? Now, I don't expect you to get it right with exact foot, Sergeant, just approximately.
Well, sir, I...
Just mark your map, please, Sergeant. Thank you. Now you hesitated, Sergeant. Why was that?
Well, sir, as I recall, the dump used to cover quite a large area.
Indeed, in the area enclosed by the steel fence. That was quite a large area.
Yes, sir.
So that it might be quite difficult to pinpoint a precise spot where something had been found.
Well, yes, sir, it might be to pinpoint a precise spot to within a foot or two, so that might be difficult. But that was not my object in taking the accused onto the site, sir. My object was to confront him with the site as it was then.
To give him a chance to change his story, perhaps.
To jog his memory, sir.
But he didn't change his story, did he, Sergeant? He stuck to his story and he still sticks to it. Now, lastly, would I be right in saying that last June, although work had begun, there were still certain areas of debris on the site?
As I recall, yes, sir.
Thank you, officer.
Officer, the accused told you he found the wallet on a rubbish dump. near Old Street Bridge. Now, you've told us that the area in question was a building site in June of this year, but with some debris on it. Now, was there, however, anything on the site resembling a rubbish dump?
No, sir, just bits of wire, old bins. You know, the sort of stuff you would expect to find when contractors are on site, planks of wood, that sort of stuff.
But not a rubbish dump?
No, sir.
No, thank you, Sergeant.
Very well, thank you, Sergeant. You may go.
Thank you, my lord.
I call Angus Phillips.
Angus Phillips, please.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Is your name Angus Clive Phillips, and do you live at High Point, The Drive, Little Hamley, Oxfordshire?
Yes.
Yes. Now, will you tell the court what occurred on the afternoon of Saturday, June the 15th, 1974, please?
By the river, at a place called the Bushes. Her name was Mary Wilkins. It was rather a warm day, so I took off my blazer and tie and put them on the ground under a bush. We then went for a walk along the river bank as far as the old mill, about 2.5 miles, and then back again. Now, that's when I noticed that my stuff had gone.
Gone?
My blazer, tie, everything. I knew exactly where I'd put them. They just weren't there anymore.
So what did you do, Mr. Phillips?
I went back to the school and told the headmaster. He informed the police.
Yes, now, Mr. Phillips, you referred to the bushes. What or where are the bushes?
Oh, it's what they call that part of the river bank. It's about half a mile long. On one side there's the river, and on the other side there's a fence which forms the boundary of the school cricket pitch.
I see. And is it a place you went to often?
Technically, it's out of bounds, or part of it.
And yet you went there on June the 15th?
Well, it's not all out of bounds.
Ah. And how do you tell one part from the other?
Oh, there used to be a little wall running down to the river, but that's been knocked down now.
Mr. Phillips, why is it that that part of the bushes is out of bounds?
Oh, I don't know, really. Some of the rougher types from the school, from the town, used to go there, and there have been fights. I think that's probably why.
Boys from the town?
Oh, not just boys. Tramps, people like that.
And did you ever see any tramps there?
I saw one on June the 15th.
Yes. And was he known to you, Mr. Phillips?
Not then, no.
Have you seen him since?
I'm looking at him now.
Yes. And have you ever seen him between June the 15th and today?
Yes, at the police station, in an identity parade.
Mm-hmm. And did you pick him out?
Yes.
And let's be quite clear about this. You saw a man at the bushes on June the 15th, and that man you see in court today.
In the dock, there. Kemp.
Mr. Phillips, apart from that day in June and the occasion in the police station and here today, have you seen the accused on any other occasion?
No, my lord.
And yet you are quite sure that that is the man you saw that day?
Yes, sir.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, well, you don't see many types like that, my lord. I had a good look at him. It's the same man.
I see.
Mr. Phillips, are you able to give us any sort of timetable for the events on June the 15th? What time did you meet your friend? What time did you place your blazer under the bush? What time did you see the tramp? That sort of thing.
Well, I left school after lunch. I probably got down to the river about 2. Mm-hmm. I hid my blazer at 5 or 10 minutes later. We then walked along the river bank. We didn't pass the tramp until we'd got to the mill, so it must have been about 2:45.
I see. And what was the tramp doing?
He was walking in the opposite direction, away from the mill.
Not near the place where you left the blazer?
Well, not when we saw him, no. But he must have walked close by it. I mean, the school is on one side and the river's on the other. The public part of the bank is quite narrow just there.
I see. And did you see anyone else during your walk, Mr. Phillips?
No, no one.
No, you came across no one else walking in either direction?
No, sir.
No. Now, may the witness see Exhibit 1, please. Do you recognize that wallet, Mr. Phillips?
Yes, it's mine. It was in my blazer pocket on June the 15th. It was a Christmas present from my father.
I see. Thank you. Now, when that wallet came into the possession of the police, it was empty. Was it empty when you placed it with your blazer underneath the bush?
No.
Would you please tell the court what it contained?
A few personal things. A letter, I think, and £15.
That's rather a lot of money to be carrying about at school, is it not?
I was going to buy some books. My father had just sent it to me.
Did you ever recover the money?
No.
Or your blazer, or your tie, or your fountain pen?
No.
Apart from the wallet, you've seen none of those things from that day to this?
No.
No. Mr. Phillips, I believe you're no longer at Kenbury Hall.
No, I left last term.
So you ended your school days on rather a sad note.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Mr. Phillips, You've told us there was once a little brick wall dividing the inbound part of the river from the outbound part.
Yes,
How do you know that?
I remember it.
Has all trace of the wall disappeared?
Well, there are still a few bricks lying around.
So, in fact, you know exactly where the boundary is.
Well, more or less, but...
But what, Mr. Phillips?
Well, it wasn't really a rule that applied to us.
Us?
Well, sixth formers, prefects. We used to go down there occasionally.
With the headmaster's permission?
Well, not exactly. It was an unspoken thing.
Unspoken or assumed, Mr. Phillips?
Unspoken.
Now, you've told us you took off your blazer and tie because it was rather warm.
That's right.
Mr. Phillips, I suggest to you that the temperature in Fulchester that day was 10.8 degrees centigrade with a fresh northwesterly wind. Hardly cricket weather, Mr. Phillips.
Oh, but it was warm. Well, that's why I took my blazer off.
Was it the weather that made you warm, Mr. Phillips? Or was it your friend, Miss Mary Wilkins? Was your rendezvous with Miss Wilkins strictly in line with school rules?
Prefects had privileges.
Please answer the question, Mr. Phillips.
Well, not to the letter, perhaps.
No. In fact, Dr. Hutchinson, your headmaster, had occasion to address all fifth and sixth formers as recently as January this year on the subject of meeting girls from the town during term time, didn't he?
Yes.
And he repeated the school rule that boys from Kenbury Hall were forbidden to meet these girls without his express permission, right?
Yes, but...
Yes?
Well, it wasn't like that.
It was very much like that for Roger Carter Saville, wasn't it? The reason given for removing him from the school was as meeting local girls, wasn't it? Perhaps he didn't take the same precautions that you did.
Precautions?
Less careful, perhaps?
I couldn't say.
My lord, no doubt the rules of Kenbury Hall School are of vital importance to the staff and pupils, but I really don't see how they affect us here today.
Do they, Mr. Ellis?
Yes, my lord, it's plainly important to know who might have been on the river bank and under what circumstances. If this rule was frequently broken, it could be some materiality.
Very well.
The reason given for expelling Carter Saville from the school was breaking bounds and meeting girls, wasn't it?
My lord, why should this witness know why another pupil should have left the school?
These things do come out, Mr. Golding. However, I think you should be aware of hearsay, Mr. Ellis.
Indeed, my lord. I do not think that I'm offending the rules. Now, Mr. Phillips, were you aware of the real reason for removing Carter Saville from the school? I must remind you that you're on oath. Do you know the real reason?
Yes.
Did it, in fact, involve anything apart from breaking bounds and meeting girls?
Well, all I know is that
Yes or no, Mr. Phillips?
I believe it did, yes.
And what was Roger Carter Saville accused of doing?
He'd taken money.
The case of the Queen against Kemp will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. On June the 26th, 1974, Arthur Kemp, an elderly vagrant, attempted to sell a valuable pigskin wallet to a second-hand dealer. But the wallet appeared on a police list of items mislaid 11 days before by Angus Clive Phillips, a pupil at Kenbury Hall Public School. Kemp is charged with the theft of all the items, but during cross-examination, Phillips reveals that a fellow pupil, Roger Carter Saville, had been removed from Kenbury Hall School for pilfering at about the time of the alleged theft. The judge is curious about Roger Carter Saville.
Mr. Phillips, you say the boy Carter Saville was removed from the school for taking money. How do you know that was the reason?
Well, it's rather difficult to explain, my lord.
So what we have to know is how you came by that knowledge. Was it rumoured round the school that he'd been pilfering, or did you know for certain that was the reason?
Well, it wasn't a secret. I lost £1 and a book. And they were found in Carter Savile's locker.
How do you know they were found in Carter Savile's locker?
Because I found them.
And that's the theft of this book and that money that directly led to his removal from the school?
I think there may have been other
I don't want to know what you think, Mr. Phillips. I want to know what you know and nothing else.
In that case, yes, sir. That's the only thing I know for sure.
And when did all this happen?
Last June, a few days after the other business. But it wasn't anything, really.
Would you be calling anybody else from Kenby Hall School as evidence about Carter Savile may be important?
I shall be calling Mr. Gross, my lord, who was Phillips's and Carter Savile's housemaster.
Yes, I see. Very well, Mr. Ellis.
I'm obliged, my lord. Mr. Phillips, you say that Roger Carter Savile stole money and a book from you. And yet, when only a few days earlier money and property was stolen from you, your suspicions didn't fall on him. Now, how did you come to discover the book and pound note in Carter Savile's locker? What led you to look there?
I don't know, really. He didn't like me very much. We'd had rows. I thought he might have taken the things just to spite me.
Well, the book I can understand, but the money. How did he manage to get his hands on that?
Well, the pound note was in the book.
In the book? Why?
Well, as I say, I was using it to...
Did Carter Savile know it was in the book?
I don't know. I was using it to mark my place. He may have seen it.
Earlier you tell us you had £15 in your wallet, and now you tell us you use pound notes as bookmarks. However, you tell us that Carter Savile may have seen the money in the book.
I couldn't honestly say.
Were you surprised when Carter Savile was taken away from the school?
Oh, I don't know, a bit.
Why? Is it customary for boys at Kenbury Hall to steal from each other?
Of course not. But it was only £1. I mean, it wasn't like stealing. He only did it out of spite.
Yes, you've told us you didn't get on, you and Carter Savile. You had rows. Now, what were the rows about?
I don't know. We just didn't like each other.
Well, was there any one particular cause of friction?
No.
Mr. Phillips, how much pocket money did you receive?
I didn't have pocket money.
Then how on earth did you manage? I mean, after all, your bookmarks are expensive.
Well, if I needed any money, I asked my father.
And he always supplied your needs.
Why shouldn't he?
I believe you ran a car while you were at school.
Yes.
Did many boys run cars?
Half a dozen.
Did Carter Savile run a car?
No.
Did Carter Savile have a girlfriend?
Not that I know of.
To your knowledge, was he ever a friend of Mary Wilkins?
I don't know. He may have known her.
What was your relationship with Miss Wilkins?
I'd met her in the town. I thought she was rather fun. I used to see her occasionally.
Despite school rules?
It wasn't like that. The rules were intended to stop chaps messing about with girls. Well, Mary and I simply chatted, had fun. We never really broke the rules.
You made yourself the judge of that, did you? But other boys, those with less self-control than yourself, they had to be prevented from messing about.
It hardly ever happened.
What hardly ever happened?
As I say, going too far.
Do you mean having sexual intercourse?
Yes.
I see. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Phillips, we seem to have travelled rather a long way from that June afternoon when your possessions were misappropriated, don't we? However, do you yourself believe that anyone at the school would have been capable of stealing from you money and property to the value of £65?
No, of course not.
Not this Roger Carter Savile?
Certainly not.
And did he really steal that pound note from you?
No, it was just a silly trick.
Exactly. In quite a different class and style altogether from your other loss.
Very much so.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Does your lordship have any questions?
No, thank you. You may leave the witness box, Mr. Phillips.
My lord, I call Miss Mary Wilkins. Miss Wilkins, I hope we shan't have to keep you very long, but I'd like you to cast your mind back to June the 15th of this year and tell us, in your own words, just what happened on that afternoon.
Well, that was the afternoon I met Angus Phillips.
Yes.
We went for a walk by the river.
You and Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Yes. Now, during your walk, what was Mr. Phillips wearing?
Wearing? Oh, shirt and trousers, you know.
Anything over the shirt?
No, he'd taken his jacket off and hidden it.
And what were you wearing?
Well, a dress, you know.
A long dress? A short dress?
Oh, not a long one.
And were you wearing anything over the dress?
No.
Weren't you cold, Miss Wilkins?
No.
Ah, then perhaps that particular part of the river is sheltered, because we've been informed by my learned friend that there was a fresh northwesterly wind blowing.
Well, I don't remember no wind.
No, thank you, Miss Wilkins. Now, where did you walk to and how long did it take?
Oh, up to the old mill and back. I don't know exactly how long it took. Perhaps an hour and a half.
And did you meet anyone on your walk?
We saw an old tramp. We didn't see anyone else.
Yes, and do you see that person in court, Miss Wilkins?
Yeah, Arthur Kemp up there.
You've no doubts about that?
No, I've seen him before. He's often about Old Street and Wilson Street.
Yes, no, thank you. Now, what point on your walk did you meet the accused?
Up near the mill, he passed us going towards the town.
And when you'd finished your walk, what occurred?
Well, when we got back to the bushes, Angus found someone had nicked his stuff. You see, he'd hidden his jacket underneath a bush.
Thank you, Miss Wilkins.
Miss Wilkins, Angus Phillips was an old friend of yours.
Oh, I'd known him about 4 or 5 months.
Known him well.
To talk to, have a joke with.
And you didn't feel in the least cold that day.
Cold? No.
My learned friend has suggested you might have been in a sheltered spot out of the wind. Miss Wilkins, I suggest the sheltered spot was not in the vicinity of the old mill at all, but at some altogether less conspicuous place, let us say, amongst the trees, down by the school fence.
I don't know what you mean.
According to your evidence, you spent about an hour and a half walking and talking with Angus Phillips. Did you do anything else, apart from walk and talk?
No, I don't think so.
Miss Wilkins, you are on oath. Now, I ask you again, during the time you were with Angus Phillips on June the 15th, did you do anything apart from walk and talk?
We sat down once.
For how long?
I don't know, a bit.
5 minutes? 30 minutes? An hour and a half?
Oh, no, not that long.
Miss Wilkins, no one is suggesting you did anything unlawful during the time. It's just important to know what you did. Now, did you sit down for half an hour or about an hour and a half?
I don't know, it might have been.
It was a cold day, Miss Wilkins. Angus Phillips was in shirt sleeves, you in a short dress. Did you feel the cold at all during the half hour you were sitting down?
No.
Miss Wilkins, have you ever had sexual relations with Angus Phillips?
My lord, this is intolerable. How can this possibly be relevant?
It is relevant to the evidence, is it not, that the only person they noticed on the river bank was the accused. I mean, if they were concentrating on something, they might not have noticed anyone else.
Indeed, my lord.
Yes. You will answer counsel's questions, Miss Wilkins.
Once.
When?
Well, perhaps more than once.
And how often with Roger Carter?
I never said I did it with Roger.
No, Miss Wilkins, I'm saying you did. I want to know how often.
Well, that was just once.
Yes. Roger Carter Saville was very fond of you, wasn't he?
Don't know.
But of course he couldn't give you the things Angus Phillips could give you. Is it the case, Miss Wilkins, that Roger Carter Saville never gave you presents?
He gave me a brooch once.
But that really doesn't compare with the things that Phillips gave you, am I right?
Well, Roger couldn't afford a lot.
No, so you preferred to keep the company of Phillips.
I liked Angus.
Yes, and you liked his presence, and for both these reasons you remained on the best of terms with him. And that involved sexual relations.
I didn't do it for the money.
No, of course not, Miss Wilkins. You were simply doing what you wanted. And that is why I suggest on that very day, June the 15th, you had sexual relations with Angus Phillips, as you had had on other occasions. Now, did you see my client before or after making love?
After. We heard him walking by.
And you'd been at that particular spot for half an hour?
Half an hour, 20 minutes, I don't know.
Yes, so that for 20 minutes at least you were in no position to notice who did or did not enter the vicinity of the bushes. Thank you very much, Miss Wilkins.
Was Roger Carter Saville your first lover, Miss Wilkins?
No.
No. Did he know he wasn't the first?
Well, yeah.
Was he in love with you, Miss Wilkins?
I wouldn't say in love.
Did he want to marry you?
Marry? We never talked about things like that.
Yes. And would you perhaps describe your relationship, therefore, with him as here today and gone tomorrow?
Well, he didn't live in Fulchester, did he? I knew he wouldn't be staying forever, didn't I?
And he knew the same, yes?
But of course he did.
Yes, so it really would be fanciful to describe your relationship with him as a particularly deep one. I mean, we're not here describing a latter-day Romeo and Juliet situation or anything like that, are we?
She's happy go lightly, that one.
Kemp.
She doesn't matter who it is.
Kemp,
What do you know about you dirty old bugger?
Miss Wilkins. Now, Kemp, I've already had to speak to you once. I shall not do so again. You will not speak until you are asked to. Now, do you understand?
I've seen her on a Saturday night.
Kemp, Did you understand what I was saying? You will not speak until you are told to. Now, Mr. Ellis, I think perhaps you better have a word with your client.
Yes, my lord.
And you, Miss Wilkins, you will only answer questions put to you by counsel and myself, and you will not engage in a slanging match with the accused.
I'm sorry, my lord.
Very well. I think this will be a suitable moment to adjourn.
My lord, I call the defendant Arthur Kemp.
What is your religion?
Have you no religion, Kemp?
I don't go near them places now. I used to. Some of them padres were made of right
Kemp,
stuff.
are you a Christian?
Oh, yes, sir.
Have him sworn.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
Can you see the words on the card?
I can see the card.
Repeat the words after me. I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God,
that the evidence I shall give
evidence I shall give.
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
No, no, no. Repeat the words after me. Shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Is your name Arthur Kemp?
Yes, sir.
And have you a permanent address?
I'm a walker. I don't have an address.
Where do you live in the summer, Mr. Kemp?
Same place as I live in winter.
And where is that?
I'm on road. I'm one of the last, I am.
Mr. Kemp, I'm going to ask you some questions about events which took place earlier this year. Now, can you remember where you were in the middle of June?
June?
Mr. Kemp, you've seen a number of witnesses standing in that box. And they all say they saw you in and around Fulchester during the middle weeks of June. Now, is that true?
I saw Pete Glass. He said I pinched that wallet, but I never did.
Yes, but you did take a wallet to Mr. Glass.
I never said I didn't, but I never stole it. I've never been in no trouble with the police. In all my life, Your Honour.
Yes, Mr. Kemp, I do understand. Say this.
I'm obliged, my lord. May the defendant see Exhibit 1. Have you ever seen that wallet before?
I found it down by the bridge.
Is that the wallet you offered for sale to Mr. Glass?
It was worth £2 and all. Yeah, but Amy's that mean.
That is the same wallet, Mr. Kemp.
It's the best I've ever seen, yeah.
Thank you. Now, how did you come by it?
I found it on a dump. Oh, no, I tell a lie. I found it... It don't look the same now, but if you walk along the river, you come to the bridge. That's where I found it.
On the ground?
Oh, my lord, this point is very much in dispute.
My lord, I am in some difficulty.
Yes, that is painfully obvious, Mr. Ellis. However, that is no excuse. Mr. Kemp, I want you to try and remember exactly where you found the wallet.
Like he said, on the ground.
On a dump.
Ah, the coppers tried to catch me with that one. I'm not so silly. That dump it ain't there now.
So, where was the wallet when you first saw it?
On the ground.
Yes, try to remember exactly. It's very important. Perhaps it'd be better if we worked backwards from when you took it to Mr. Glass. Now, how long had you had that wallet in your possession before you went to see Mr. Glass?
I just found it, hadn't I?
What, the same day?
Yeah, the day before. I used to be able to remember things.
Never mind, Mr. Kemp. So you had that wallet only for a short time, a day or perhaps 2 days at the most.
Well, it was no good to me, see? I had nothing to put in it. It was best to sell it.
Quite. So, on the day you took it to Mr. Glass, or the day before, that was when you first came across the wallet. Now, whereabouts?
On the ground.
Where on the ground?
Where did he put that big place up?
So you found the wallet on the ground by the big block of flats.
That's right, Your Honour.
There you are, you see, Mr. Ellis. It's not impossible, is it?
I'm obliged, my lord. Now, Mr. Kemp, was it lying on the ground as if someone had dropped it?
No, that's it, you see. It were among a lot of rubbish, thrown away like, not lost.
Mr. Kemp, had you sold items to Mr. Glass before?
Sold, give 'em away more like. I tell you, Governor, that peat glass is the worst sort. I had a book of poetry, Scottish poems, none the worse for that. An old lady gave it me, and there weren't a mark on it. And I took it round to Pete Glass. You know what he says? Been nicking again, have you? I can only give you a tanner for that, because it's been nicked.
You lying old sod! I've never bought Nick gear, that's why I never bought that wallet. Because that was Nick, wasn't it, eh?
Never was. I've never been in
Kemp.
one of them places in my life.
Be quiet. Now, Glass, if I hear another word from you, I shall have you removed from this court. And Kemp, you will just answer counsel's questions without being offensive. Now, this is the second time I've had to speak to you about your conduct. Just remember that you are here on trial for theft, and it'll be very much in your own interests if you behave yourself. Now, let's have no more of it. Very well, Mr. Ellis.
I know. May I assume from these exchanges that you have sold items to Mr. Glass?
Yes.
Now, kindly answer this question as briefly as you can. Did you believe Mr. Glass paid you what the goods were worth?
No, he robbed me.
So when you took the wallet to him, what did you feel?
I knew I wouldn't get what it was worth, not from him.
Mr. Glass has described your manner on that occasion as shifty. Oh, can you understand why he should think this?
I won't go to him again. If I wanted to take him crown jewels, he'd shortchange me. I wouldn't trust him, Governor.
And that's why you hesitated before offering the wallet for sale.
Yeah.
Then why did you go to his shop, Mr. Kemp?
Well, there isn't nowhere else, is there?
Mr. Kemp, I now want to move to the events of June the 15th. That is 11 days before. Now, can you tell us where you were on the afternoon of that day?
Was that the day I saw them?
June the 15th, Mr. Kemp. 11 days before you found the wallet.
Ah, now then, you're right. I did see them.
Who?
That young lad there and her.
Angus Phillips and Mary Wilkins.
Mary Wilkins, that's her.
Yes, where did you see them?
Up the bushes.
Will you describe exactly what you saw?
Have I got to say what I saw?
You have?
In front of everybody?
Yes.
Well, he ain't respectable.
Kemp, will you just answer the question and tell us how and where you saw Mr. Phillips and Miss Wilkins?
In among green stuff under trees.
Doing what?
What they shouldn't. That's different. But the lad is from that big school.
Now, doing what they shouldn't. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm no saint. I've spent years in India. I've seen things that'd shock you. But them, in broad daylight, your Carla had me wouldn't do it. With a dress up round her neck. It was disgusting.
Mr. Kemp, what were they doing?
Fornicating.
Mr. Ellis, I think we've established what was happening. Can we get on now?
They turned round and looked at me. Didn't make a scrap of difference. They went straight back and carried on what they were doing. They'd no shame.
And then what did you do?
I went up to Salvation.
Do you mean the Salvation Army?
Up to the hostel. Till they opened, I sat in the park.
Mr. Kemp, we've heard that Angus Phillips put his school blazer underneath a bush. Now, did you see a school blazer under a bush?
No.
You're quite sure about that?
I never saw nothing.
Mr. Kemp, I want to ask you about one other matter. How did you spend your life as a young man?
In the army, sir. Indian Army. 10 years counting my boy service.
And why did you leave the army?
What's that got to do with it?
All right, Mr. Kemp, just tell us why.
I was chucked out, sir.
For what reason?
Well, I was unfit. I caught fever and had to have a drink because it was the sun.
Yes, by chucked out you mean dishonourably discharged.
I don't know what I mean, but...
Well, you were discharged for drunkenness.
No, you see, it was this wound I had.
Yes, Mr. Kemp. Now, for 10 years, you served your country in India, and then because of the climate and because of the wound, you took to drinking and were discharged, thus losing your pension and, indeed, your good name.
I never got a job since, sir, from that day to this.
Mr. Kemp, did you ever steal while you were in the army?
No, I didn't, sir. Who told you that?
And have you ever stolen since?
No, never once.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp.
The fact is, Mr. Kemp, that you were dishonourably discharged in Lahore in October 1923 for physical and mental debilitation self-inflicted through the use of intoxicating liquor and other means. True or false, Mr. Kemp?
It never says why, does it?
Yes, but you still like a drink, don't you, Mr. Kemp? Of course, it's not easy to find the money, having no pension, but when you do have a little bit of loose change in your pocket, you really do like to have a drink, don't you?
There's no law against it.
In fact, you had rather a long drink on Saturday, June the 15th, didn't you? Wasn't it you who went into an off-licence in Old Street and purchased a bottle of sherry that evening? It wasn't a particularly expensive sherry, but even 56 pence must have made rather a hole in your Social Security benefits. Well, you did buy that sherry, didn't you, Mr. Kemp?
Oh, what if I did?
Now, what did you buy it with, Mr. Kemp?
Well, I got me assistance, hadn't I?
Ah, yes. And what was your no fixed abode pay, Mr. Kemp?
50p.
50 pence, yes. And did you buy a bottle of sherry every week, Mr. Kemp?
No, didn't want to.
I couldn't afford to. That seems more reasonable. But on this particular evening, you could afford to. On this particular evening, Mr. Kemp, you had money in your pocket. Now, only a few hours before, you'd walked by the very spot where Angus Phillips had lost his wallet containing £15. Now, we know that later, you had possession of that wallet. Now, I wonder if you could tell his lordship and the jury whatever became of the money that was in it.
I don't know what you're talking about. What money?
The money you spent to buy liquor, Mr. Kemp. The money you stole from Angus Phillips.
The case of the Queen against Kemp will be concluded tomorrow in the Crown Court. An old tramp, Arthur Kemp, stands accused of stealing property from Angus Phillips, an ex-pupil of Kenbury Hall Public School near Fulchester. The defence has been able to show that Phillips broke school rules on the day of the theft and that there was a great resentment between him and another sixth former, Roger Carter Saville. But the prosecution draws attention to the tramp's drinking habits.
I never stole no money. It's a lie. There was nothing in that wallet.
Which you say you found on either June the 25th or 26th at the site of a new block of flats at Old Street Bridge.
Yeah.
10 or 11 days after it was lost?
I know nothing about that.
So, in some mysterious manner, this handsome wallet made its way from a place on the riverbank 1.5 miles away, emptied itself of £15, plus other things, and deposited itself in the road outside a busy building site where it lay unnoticed for perhaps 10 days until you happened to come along. That's what you want us to believe, is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What did you do with the blazer and the tie and the fountain pen and the other things, Mr. Kemp? Perhaps they were rather difficult to dispose of, rather incriminating. Or have you hidden them away against the next time you wish to indulge your taste for alcohol, Mr. Kemp? Well?
Can I go outside, Governor?
No, you cannot, Kemp.
I'll have to go outside, Your Honour.
What do you mean you'll have to?
It's me water,
Your
Governor.
what?
Me water.
Oh, I see. Officer, will you take him to the lavatory, please? I shall adjourn now for 10 minutes.
All stand. stand.
Mr. Kemp, are you able to continue? Would you prefer to be seated?
No, I think I can manage, Your Honour.
Very well. And you, Mr. Golding?
Well, Mr. Kemp, do you feel able to answer some more questions?
I'll do my best, Governor.
Good, because the last thing I want to do is to cause you any distress. You do understand that?
If you say so.
Oh, I do say so, Mr. Kemp, I do say so. No purpose is served if it appears I've been browbeating a defenceless and incommoded old gentleman. Therefore, you are feeling capable of speaking up for yourself.
I'll try.
Good. Now, Mr. Kemp, we have a rubbish dump that doesn't exist. We have a sum of money that disappears from the wallet, and we have another sum of money that appears in your pocket. A remarkable sequence of, well, I hardly like to call them events. They sound more like stories from the Arabian Nights. Unfortunately, this is not a camp in the desert, Mr. Kemp. This is a court of law. Here we are concerned with the facts of everyday life, not fiction, not fantasy, not lies. Because that's what you've been telling us, isn't it, Mr. Kemp? Lies.
I never did.
Oh, very well then. Not lies, just stories, just inventions to fill up the gaps in your memory, like the magic rubbish dump that appears and disappears according to the time of day.
I tell you, that dump was there for years.
But you forgot it had been moved, Mr. Kemp. Just as you forgot what happened on the afternoon of June the 15th. Now, we all understand that, Mr. Kemp. You've had a long and eventful life, and even quite important things have slipped your memory. But you did see that blazer, did you not?
What blazer?
The one we have all been talking about ever since this case began, Mr. Kemp.
I don't know what you're on about.
Mr. Kemp, I'm giving you an opportunity of changing your story, of recalling more clearly just what happened. Now, no one will blame you for forgetting, but now the time has come to remember. We're all waiting, Mr. Kemp.
Well, it was all a long time ago.
Yes?
There was a dump, and them two in the bushes. Well, my mind was on them, you see. It shouldn't be allowed a rich young fella like that.
How do you know he was rich?
'Cause of his gear.
His gear?
The things he had. He goes to that posh school.
His possessions, Mr. Kemp.
Eh?
Yes. No further questions, my lord. Thank you.
My learned friend seems to be suggesting that you've entirely lost your memory. But that's nonsense, isn't it, Mr. Kemp?
There's nothing wrong with my memory. I could tell you the name of every fella that was in my platoon.
Yes, and no doubt you could tell us for how many years you've been coming to Fulchester on your travels.
I can tell you, first year I come here, it was the year that bullshit fella died. I know, 'cause his face was on newspaper what was wrapped round me grub. Oh, what was his name? Oh, a chap with a little beard. Lenin! You know the fella I mean? Oh, I remember it as plain as anything.
What was the year in which Lenin died?
1924, my lord.
Oh, we'll say about 50 years, Mr. Ellis.
I'm obliged, my lord. So you've been coming to Fulchester for about 50 years.
Oh, must be.
And we are told that the rubbish dump was removed 2 or 3 years ago, so that for approximately 47 years, you have had a constant memory of a rubbish dump in one particular spot.
Well, it was like a landmark if you come into town that way.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp.
Very well, you may return to the dock, Mr. Kemp.
I call Mr. William Gross. Is your name William Gross?
Yes.
And are you a master and a housemaster at Kembury Hall School?
No. I was until I stepped into this witness box. Having done so, I am relieved of my position.
I don't understand, Mr. Gross.
Well, some time ago, I informed Dr. Hutchinson, the headmaster, that I would be coming to court to give evidence for Mr. Kemp. He suggested that perhaps I shouldn't, and we discussed the matter, but I couldn't alter my decision.
Yes, but how does this affect your position in the school?
Well, my lord, Kenbury Hall's a very well-known school. There are plenty of good men who could take my place. Dr. Hutchinson pointed this out to me.
Yes.
He then said he didn't want any of the staff involved in this case.
Did he indeed? Go on.
He said that if I chose to go against his wishes, he would have to replace me with someone who was, as he put it, more loyal. But to be quite fair, he said that if I changed my mind, up to the moment of coming into this court, he'd be prepared to forget the whole business.
Good gracious. Go on, Mr. Ellis, please.
My lord. Mr. Gross, we understand there are certain school rules concerning an area by the river known as the Bushes. Now, is this so?
Yes, the Bushes are out of bounds.
Yes, to whom?
All the boys in the school at all times.
Yes, and how is this area defined?
At the town end by a fence and a gate, and at the eastern end by the remains of a brick wall. But everyone at Kenbury Hall knows exactly what is meant by the Bushes.
Thank you. Now, were there any other school rules of this nature?
Well, the most obvious is the one about meeting girls from the town, but of course this applies to other places apart from the Bushes.
To your knowledge, did boys ever break these rules?
One or two did.
Who, for instance?
Well, Phillips did, Carter Saville did, there have been others.
What was the relationship between these two boys? Were they friends?
Well, as juniors, they were very close friends, but when they came to upper school, all that changed. In my opinion, Phillips received far too much money from his father, and Carter Saville became envious.
Envious?
Yes, well, Phillips isn't the shy, retiring sort. He chucked his money about, and Carter Saville couldn't keep pace.
As far as you yourself could see, was there any connection between this affluence and the breaking of school rules?
Well, yes, I believe so. Carter Saville used to meet a girl in the town. She has a certain reputation. I told him that if he wanted to do that sort of thing, he'd have to wait until he went home during the holidays. It was strictly against the headmaster's directions. He was very upset. I was rather surprised. Then about a week later, I saw Phillips with the same girl in Phillips' car. I warned him about it. Then later I caught him at the Bushes.
Yes, what did you do?
I went to the headmaster.
And what happened?
I understand the headmaster spoke to Phillips.
Yes. Now, what signs of trouble did you see between the two boys?
Well, there were fights, quite bad ones. I also had to report these to the headmaster. That sort of thing isn't permitted at Kenbury Hall.
But were there any consequences that you knew of?
Well, and you know that Carter Saville became depressed, morose. His work went off. He seemed like a lost soul. Phillips was his usual confident self.
Mr. Ellis, I fail to see how this is relevant.
Well, Phillips' father is the school's main benefactor, a very important person.
I was talking to counsel, Mr. Gross. Mr. Ellis.
Because, my lord, the relationship between the two boys is material to my suggestion that Carter Saville had a motive and an opportunity for removing the other's possession.
Very well.
Mr. Gross.
Well, because of his special position, Angus Phillips received much more lenient treatment at the hands of the headmaster than any other boy. On more than one occasion, I've been told by Dr. Hutchinson to go easy on Phillips. And, of course, Phillips always had money, so he always had friends, Carter Saville being the principal one until the matter with the girl.
This girl, do you see her here in court today?
Yes, sitting there.
And you actually know she was the cause of friction between Phillips and Carter Saville?
Well, yes, I made it my business to find out. I spoke to both boys and the girl. And then, of course, there was the matter of the pound note.
Ellis?
The pound note, would you tell us about it?
Well, I received a complaint from Phillips that someone had taken a book of his and some money. And Phillips said...
No, don't tell us what he said, Mr. Gross. Just say what you did as a result.
Well, I took both boys and we looked in Carter Saville's locker. Inside we found the book and the money. Well, the whole business was put to the headmaster, and as a result, Carter Saville's father was informed, and the boy was taken away from the school.
And the headmaster's action wasn't seriously complained of by the boy, or by his father?
No.
Why wasn't he expelled, Mr. Gross? Wouldn't that be the normal course?
Oh, yes, it would, particularly in view of the other things I told the headmaster.
What other things?
Oh, I found Carter Saville with a pocket full of money some time before this book business. 2 5-pound notes, at least, a great deal of money for him.
Is it possible it might have been sent from home?
That's not what he told me.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Gross.
What did he tell you, Mr. Gross?
He said he'd been saving up.
But you didn't believe it?
No, I didn't.
In fact, Carter Saville wasn't exactly your favourite pupil, was he?
I haven't got favourite pupils.
You haven't got any pupils at all at the moment, Mr. Gross, according to your evidence. Apparently, the headmaster thinks you lack loyalty.
Well, I don't subscribe to the principle, my school right or wrong.
Oh, were you asked to?
Directly, no.
What does that mean?
I was asked not to say anything or do anything that might affect the good name of Carter Saville and Kenbury Hall School. Well, they'd far rather see some helpless old man like Kemp take all the blame for this theft, just so long as their precious good name remained intact. I just couldn't stand by and watch that happen.
Had you been having trouble with the headmaster?
Trouble, no.
No. Hadn't he spoken to you about excessive vigilance or about prying into the affairs of the sixth formers?
He said he thought my views on conduct were rather old-fashioned.
Yes. Was Dr. Hutchison quite satisfied with your housemastership? You see, there'd been talk at one time of your becoming deputy headmaster, hadn't there?
Just a suggestion, nothing more.
But when the position became vacant, it went to somebody else, didn't it?
Well, nothing surprising about that.
Oh, indeed not. You aren't married, are you, Mr. Gross?
No.
And now you're free, you might be going to the church, is that right?
I haven't decided what to do.
In fact, a teaching monastery.
I don't see what this has to do with anybody else.
Because if it's true, Mr. Gross, it might help to explain your attitude towards certain young men in your charge.
Attitude?
You were repelled by their perfectly healthy interest in members of the opposite sex. You had no patience with their jokes, their squabbles. All their quite normal activities struck you as wicked, even sinful. You disapproved of Philip's car, you disapproved of Carter Saville's girlfriend, you disapproved of the boys having money, you disapproved of horseplay.
Oh, this is absurd.
In fact, you disapproved of almost everything to do with the school itself towards the end, and that is why you are prepared so readily to give evidence against these evil occupants of Kenbury Hall.
But that is a grotesque suggestion.
Is it? But it's exactly what you're doing, isn't it? Your evidence is calculated to divert attention away from the accused and towards this Roger Carter Saville. Do you deny that? You see, Mr. Gross, I suggest that your interpretation of the relationship between these two boys is not realistic. It's simply a bigoted denunciation of youth itself.
Carter Saville was jealous of Phillips. That is a fact. He was capable of anything.
Oh, that's your view, is it?
Yes, it is.
Whereas the accused would be incapable?
I don't know the accused. I do know Carter Saville and Phillips.
Exactly.
Carter Saville, I should like to make it quite clear to you that you have not been called here today by either the defense or the prosecution in this case. You have been called here by me. Now, first I must tell you that every witness has a privilege against self-incrimination, and you need not answer any question that you think might tend to incriminate you. Now, we've heard your name mentioned in connection with events a great deal just before June the 15th. And your friendship with Angus Phillips might have some relevance. So first, will you please tell me, how long have you known Angus Phillips?
About 6 years, my lord.
And what has been your relationship with him?
We used to be good friends.
And then what happened?
Well, it sort of broke up. We had a few rows. We just didn't get on anymore.
What were the rows about?
Nothing much, not to start with. Angus got a bit high and mighty when he went up to the lower sixth. Threw his money about.
Yes, well, can you tell us, was there any particular event or incident that you remember that contributed to the breakdown of this friendship?
Not really. Well, there was the car. Phillips was given a car by his father. Of course, it was newer and faster than anyone else's car. He made everyone pretty sick going on about it.
Did Phillips use his car or his money in any particular way to annoy you?
No. Well, he thought he could have any girl in Fulchester.
Did you have any friends in the opposite sex?
I did know a girl.
Is that girl here in court today?
Yes, my lord. Mary Wilkins.
And will you please tell us about Mary Wilkins?
I met her once or twice. Then I think Angus got jealous. He didn't like people having things he didn't have. So he made a point of taking Mary out in the car and buying her presents.
How did this affect your relationship with Miss Wilkins?
After Angus started taking her out, I didn't see her again.
And what did you think about this?
It didn't matter to me. She's only a...
Yes.
Well, she's One of the town girls. She probably had lots of boyfriends.
Did you feel ill-disposed towards Phillips because of this, or indeed for any other reason?
I just didn't bother with him anymore.
Now, Mr. Carter Saville, will you please tell us how you came to leave Kenbury Hall School?
Well, I didn't get on with the head. I was asked to leave.
Was there any particular event that led to that request?
I played a silly trick on Phillips. Of course, he ratted to the staff, and of course I was hauled over the coals. No one was allowed to play tricks on Mr. Angus Phillips.
Did you think you had been unfairly treated?
It's that sort of school.
What sort of school?
Just unfair. I suppose it's not Phillips' fault. His father was the one who really threw his money about. Angus just copied him.
Mr. Carter Saville, where were you on the afternoon of June the 15th this year?
In my room.
For how long?
From lunch until tea. I was reading. It was near exam time. I didn't go out.
Did anyone see you in your room during this time?
No, it was very quiet.
You didn't go to the river that afternoon?
No, my lord.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Carter Saville. Golding, have you any questions you'd like to put to this witness?
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Carter Saville, did you really have any strong feelings for Miss Mary Wilkins?
Strong feelings? Well, hardly.
You weren't in love with her?
With Miss Wilkins? No, I wasn't.
No, you see, Miss Wilkins claims you had intimate relations with her. Does this signify anything?
It's a damned lie.
You deny it?
I certainly do. I wouldn't take the risk.
So you weren't particularly heartbroken when she took up with Mr. Angus Phillips?
No.
And you felt no animosity towards him on her account?
No, none.
Thank
you. Dennis, would you?
My lord. Mr. Carter Saville, how much did you pay for the brooch you gave Miss Wilkins?
Brooch?
Yes, brooch.
Not much.
How much?
About £1, I think.
Why did you give it to her?
Why? I don't know.
Have you given jewellery to other girls in Fulchester?
I don't know any other girls from Fulchester.
I see Miss Wilkins is the only one.
Yes.
And when she left you and went off with Phillips, you didn't mind a bit?
No. Not really.
After all, she's just a town girl, isn't she?
What I meant by that was...
Yes?
Well, as I said earlier, she probably had lots of chaps.
That didn't stop you buying her a present. She wasn't that far beneath contempt.
I didn't say I felt contempt for her.
Come, Mr. Carter Saville.
I wouldn't have gone out with her in the first place if I'd felt contempt.
But she was only a town girl, not the sort of girl you have any real feelings for.
I liked her.
Not much?
What do you mean, not much?
You didn't mind her going out with other people?
Oh, you mean Phillips?
Yes, the fact that she was prepared to make love with him and not with you.
She did. We did. Once. Sort of.
Town girl or not, contempt is the last word that describes your feelings for Miss Wilkins, isn't it? Mr. Carter Saville, we've heard that you played pranks on Angus Phillips, and of course pranks sometimes go wrong. Then you wish you hadn't done them. But if the intention is merely to play a trick on someone, and any wrong done can be easily righted, well, there's no harm in owning up, is there? Especially when someone else stands to suffer a great deal by your silence. Now, I want you to reconsider the question put to you by his lordship concerning the afternoon of Saturday the 15th. Did you not leave your room, go down to the river, and simply as a trick to play Black Angus Phillips, move his blazer?
No. I'd heard him saying he was taking Mary out in the car. Why should I look for them in the bushes?
Why should you look for them at all?
Members of the jury, you've now heard all the evidence, and it is for you to decide whether the accused Arthur Kemp is guilty as charged. That is your responsibility. My responsibility is to advise and direct you on the matter of law. Now, the first thing that you must consider is whether the accused came into the possession of that wallet as he says he did. If he is telling the truth, you must consider whether he believed that the owner of the wallet could not be discovered after reasonable effort. Because if that is so, then he has a defense against the charge of theft. If, however, you disbelieve the accused's story as to how he came by the wallet, you must ask yourselves whether he took it from the river bank, and whether he also took its contents and the possessions of Phillips. Now, if he did he do so dishonestly with the intention of permanently depriving their owner of them? Now, you must only concern yourselves with the evidence and with no other consideration. You may feel a natural sympathy for this unfortunate old man who you may think has been deprived of many of life's pleasures and privileges, and who, you may think, should be allowed some compensation and perhaps an occasional minor lapse. You may feel antagonism towards the manners and morals of the young men from Canberra Hall School, but you must put all such considerations out of your mind and decide on the evidence only whether the accused did the things with which he is charged. Now, members of the jury, will you kindly retire to consider your verdict?
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you're all agreed?
Yes.
On the charge of theft, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is that the verdict of you all?
It is.
Thank you.
Arthur Kemp was given a conditional discharge by Mr. Justice Campbell, who took into account his age and previous good character. You can join another jury when our cameras return to bring you a leading case in the Crown Court.